Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to an evening routine video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I thought I would show you an up-to-date evening routine now that the kids are all back to school and my eldest is at a different school now as well. Actually today we've done 3 different school runs because of various different clubs, like Caleb had performing arts club after school, and then Fraser's school finishes at a different time and Jackson finished at a different time, so it's been like a bit of a crazy one, but we're all back now. It's about 10 to 5. So normally the kids will come in, have a snack, get rid of their bags, and then chill out for a little bit and then do homework. I find that like as soon as they come in, they might want to just chill for a bit, go on screens, and then actually do some homework. And now that they're older, they can kind of be getting on with homework at the table while I'm making dinner, and then I'm like here if they need any help and stuff. But I'm going to show you our entire routine, including what I'm going to make for dinner, any cleaning that I do, my skincare routine, like bedtime routine, just everything that we get up to today. So I hope you really enjoy this video. If you do, give it a big like and subscribe if you're new. And with all that said, let's get into today's evening routine. Okay, so most of the time we take Kiki on the school run with us, but on the odd occasion that we don't, I swear she knows what time it is, because she'll sit on top of the couch like this and just watch and wait for the boys to get home. And then once they are, she'll give them lots of love and cuddles. She really does miss them when they go off to school in the morning. Then we'll pretty much dump their bags, empty out any like lunches and stuff, and the kids will normally get a snack from the snack drawer, something like this, or often they'll have fruit or yogurt or cheese, something like that. Jackson wanted apple cut up with no skin today, so that's what he got. Then they normally like play for a bit. They might go on screens, they might go on the trampoline. Often it's the trampoline. They love it so much. I've said it before, but it's one of the best things we've ever bought. I've got 3 high energy boys and this really does help, and you can see the dog even goes on it as well now. Once they've had a bit of a play and a bit of a chill out, and depending on their mood, then we'll start homework. So here Jackson is just practicing his spellings. He gets 5 a week and it's only just started. So on a Monday, we let him just copy the spellings down. Then on a Tuesday, we'll kind of cover them a bit more, but still help. And then on a Wednesday and Thursday, he'll just have to do it. And his test is on Friday. He normally does pretty well. Caleb has some reading to do. He just got a new book, which is Alexander the Great. So he's going to read. And then once he'd done that, he was actually planning a list of what he wants for his birthday. It's in about 3 weeks, and he was looking at sweets when I filmed this. My eldest also has homework, which is definitely more difficult than the others. He has about an hour a night now that he's in year 7, and tonight he was doing Mandarin homework, so I couldn't really help him with that, but he was pretty much just writing out characters, and so far he's keeping up with everything. So after homework, Jackson wanted to play with these little stamps, and while everyone is happily working away, I'm gonna get on and make dinner. I don't know about you guys, but we eat pretty early, normally at around 5:30, because the kids are just starving. So tonight I'm making a very delicious curry, so I'll be sure to link this recipe in the description if you want to remake it or check it out as well. The main base for this curry is the Sharwoods tikka masala sauce. This is so tasty and really good value for money. Actually, this entire recipe is very cost effective. Of course, it depends where you shop, but for us, this worked out at under £1 per head. So a great one. And it's also easy to make. Like, I love to have Sharwood sauces in our pantry. They do all kinds of different sauces from around the world. They've been making them forever, since 1889, I think. And they're just really delicious, and their recipes are nice and quick and easy to make. They really help me out when I'm meal planning, and it's very simple, so I'll show you what goes into it. I'm making a veggie version tonight. So of course I've got my Sharwoods tikka masala sauce. I've also got 2 cans of chickpeas which have been drained and rinsed. I've got a sweet potato and then 2 onions as well. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is actually actually wash the sweet potato and then chop it up into little sort of bite-sized cubes. And I'm also going to finely chop the onions. This recipe calls for 2 medium-sized onions, and normally I would use my little fancy like onion chopper, but I couldn't find it anywhere. We're in the process of still organizing the kitchen. But anyway, once you have chopped the onions and sweet potato, that all goes into a frying pan for about 10 minutes. So you're like letting it soften. I was just stirring it on and off and wearing these onion goggles if my eyes hurt at all. After 10 minutes, then you add in the chickpeas for a further 5 minutes. And I tend to just set an alarm on my like Google thing in the kitchen. And then after the 5 minutes, everything's like a bit softer. And then you go in and add your sauce for just about 1 to 2 minutes. So you're kind of just like heating it through. I like simmer it until it like bubbles up. And then I'm also going to serve it with rice today, but you could serve it with like naan bread or with nothing else at all, whatever you want. But as you can see, it's a really chunky, like hearty curry. And with any family meal, the most important thing is, do the kids like it? And mine really do. They love curry, and especially this one. So I'll put a link to the recipe in the description, and you can pick up Sharwood sauce in your local big supermarket. They're delicious and affordable too. I also did some washing up in between stirring the dinner, so just things from the day, and I emptied out the boys' lunch bags, their snack boxes as well, and hand washed their water bottles. And in a minute you'll see why we moved to the kitchen and got a new window as well. It's so nice that I can be doing stuff in the kitchen like this, but I can actually see the kids playing in the garden on the trampoline, or if they're playing football as well. It's really lovely. Then I asked Fraser to clear and set the table. He's got a few new chores now that he's getting older, but he doesn't seem to mind doing them too much. We have like a chore chart system, so if he does his chores all week, he'll get a prize. So whatever it is, it's normally something small like a chocolate bar he really wants, or it might be like football cards. Caleb chooses different things as well. Sometimes they want Robux, but if they do it all week, they'll get that prize, and it really works. So Caleb is getting drinks for everyone, whereas Fraser actually set the table. And then I'm just going to put the dinner out. The one time we all sit together with no screens and actually talk as a family is dinner time. That's how it was when I grew up as well. And although they're not always keen to get off their iPads or turn off the TV, it's something that we do and that they're getting used to. And it's just really nice to catch up on the day. You know, what did you learn today? Who did you play with? And sometimes I find if they're not keen to talk about school or what they learned, a really good conversation starter is, who got in trouble today? I feel like they always want to tell you about that. Or, what was the worst thing that happened then? We do like, what was the best thing that happened and what was the worst thing that happened today? And yeah, it's just really nice to catch up. So we're just going to eat our dinner. And then after dinner, guess what the kids did? Went back out onto the trampoline, but now they've got their like fluffy hoodie things on. I think they're called Oodies, but I would really recommend them. Like if your kids are ever cold, they're so fluffy and fleecy and nice. I've even got one for myself now. But while they're out there, I'm just going to tidy away the dishes and give the kitchen a bit of a clean. I always try to wipe down surfaces, wipe down the table, and get all of that kind of stuff done before we go up for the bath.
You dry. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment.
And after all that cleaning, I was really excited to have some leftover birthday cake, but then I noticed that the kids ate it all, but put the tin foil back. So thanks for that, kids. But now I'm going to get them upstairs for a bath and showers. Often the two older boys will shower, but actually our ensuite recently got finished, so they really wanted to have a bath in there tonight. So we don't do this every night, and often when I bath the kids, like I'll then use the water, or Matt will then use the water, so we do try and make it go as far as possible. So I'm just putting in a little bit of bubble bath, and then once they're actually in the bath, I'm going to go and put on some laundry. Obviously they're that little bit older. If you have babies or toddlers, like you can't really do this, but now that they're older, I can get on with things. Like often I'll do my skincare routine or sort out some laundry, because if I do laundry at this time, then by the time we actually go to bed, it's not like the tumble dryer is not on, so I tend to do it around now and in the morning as well. So I'm just going to put a load of docks on, and then I'm also going to fold a load of clothes while the boys are happy. I can actually kind of hear them through this wall where they are, like backs onto this room, so I can hear them like playing away happily. So I'm going to fold all of this laundry. Like, I don't know if anyone else has this. It's just constant in this house. Every single day there just seems to be a lot of laundry, and I try not to even wash that much stuff. But yeah, then I'm going to put this into the boys' rooms. Fraser and Caleb will just put it away for themselves, and then while I was like on a roll and I got Jackson into his pajamas, I decided to also organize his pajama drawer and generally start like decluttering randomly. And he was playing this little word game that he's had for a while. You basically match the phonic or the letter to the one on the board, so he was playing that, and then I read to Jackson. So Jackson goes to bed at about 7:30, whereas the older boys can go to bed at like 8:30 or 9. So we're reading a book about tadpoles tonight. He's really coming on with his reading, and then we had a little cuddle, and he loves, well, Kiki loves to get involved as well, and like she just loves Jackson so much. So they had some lovely cuddles in bed before I then took her out, because he just will not relax when she's there. Like he just won't actually fall asleep when she's there. So we had a lovely cuddle with our real life teddy bear, and then I put Jackson to bed, came downstairs. The two older boys were watching a TV show, but I just thought I'd show you what the lights look like in the garden at night. We're really pleased with how that's all turned out. Then at about, I think it was like 8:45, we actually went up with these two, and I'm just putting them to bed, giving them some cuddles. Kiki always seems to have like a crazy half hour at around this time, which is really not ideal when you're trying to get the kids to relax, but she really wanted to play. And Fraser, I just feel like he's been exhausted since starting senior school. He's doing so much. So anyway, he was exhausted, but we can pretty much leave these two on their own and they will just go to sleep. So that's all the kids to bed. So now it is time for me to actually do some work. So tonight I'm hiding out in Jackson's bedroom and doing a voiceover on a cleaning video. There's really good acoustics under the bunk bed, so that is why I tend to do voiceovers under here. So I'm doing that, but I still find that I am working quite a lot in the evenings, just because I really want to try and be as present a parent as possible. I know it won't last forever, so I'm doing that tonight. And then finally, I'm going to do my skincare routine. I'm going to double cleanse and then moisturize, eye cream, all of that stuff. And then actually close our blinds. We have these electric blinds in our bedroom now, and we're really pleased with them. And then, yeah, at about 11-ish, 11:30, I finally went to bed. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to check out the Sharwoods recipe in the description down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.